So this intervention story is a little heavy. Trigger warning for addiction. If you, your partner, anyone has gone through that, might be a little jarring for you. So this one is actually coming from the Two Hot Takes subreddit.
Sweet.
And it is titled, Am I the Asshole for Dating Someone While My Husband and I Were Separated? Me, 34 female, and my husband, 37 male, have been married for 5 years. He struggled with his mental health and addiction. I took the brunt of his struggles. He would tell me I was a bad wife and person daily, all while keeping from me that he was high. We separated a few times because of this, and when he finally got the help he needed, we ended up getting back together. He knows I was dating someone else. It was very public online. I answered all of his questions, and he answered all of mine, as he went on several dates with a few women, and it felt like we were finally in a good place. Fast forward a few months later, and he is now not okay with the fact that I slept with someone else, saying that he never did, which I believe. He may not have actually slept with someone else like I did, but I know there had to have been some kind of sexual activity. He says he's trying to get over the fact that I was with someone else while we were apart, saying I cheated on him and betrayed him, but he doesn't know if he can. Get over it. I love him more than anything and have done everything I can to show him that I only want to be with him, and things will get better for a few weeks. Then we'll end up right back where we started. I don't think I betrayed him, as we weren't together and didn't plan to get back together, but life brought us together again, and I couldn't be happier about it. There is just an edit from OP here, and it says, edit, I also forgot to mention that he's brought up bringing another woman into our bedroom, and while I'd be down with it because I'm very bi-curious and would love to try it, he's bringing it up for the wrong reasons, like as a way to feel better about me being with someone when we were apart.
Classic. The addiction part, not so classic, but just classic situation here.
Yeah.
When you're separated, especially in this context, you're separated and it's kind of like your dad says with the gift. Like once you give the gift away, you shouldn't have any control or care over what's done with it. It's their right to do whatever they want. Applies here in the sense that you separated. I don't know. It's so straightforward. It's the definition of separate.
Yeah.
And anything goes at that point. That is what it is. You're not going to sit around waiting for someone forever thinking like, okay, we separated, but we might get back together. No, you're going to move on with your life. You're going to keep pushing forward. Why would you wait around? There's maybe some situations where people like take a break and it's not that serious. And then, it's like the communication's off and the whole context gets messed up. But this is very clear, at least from how it's written. It's clear that we separated. I was doing my thing. They were doing theirs. And the fact that he's upset about it now is not surprising. Very immature, very childish way to react. Again, I don't know what he's going through mentally.
Yeah, with the addiction.
Right, but I understand kind of just on a very basic level, like this jealousy, but it's just not from the right place. And it's very like disconnected from reality.
Yeah, I kind of picked this one as like just like bringing awareness.
I thought you were going to say it was like a warm up for me, like a little T-ball.
No, and I do think your response is very spot on. I don't really feel like I have a lot to add to it because I completely agree with what you said. When you are separated, there's no dictating what your partner does anymore, your ex-partner, because you're separated, you're done. You are working your way towards completely separating, for a better word. Like you're done. You are coordinating your dissolution of your marriage. You are going your own ways. Especially with him, he needed to focus on getting help, healing. Yeah, I know he was struggling with addiction, which is a disease, a very serious disease, and I don't wish that upon my worst enemy. It's a battle day in and day out. And I get that he was struggling, but in that, he was also very abusive to her. Telling her that she's a bad wife and person daily. Do you know how like hearing that day in and day out, what
Well,
that would do to you.
Yeah, especially when you're there trying to help. I mean, that's kind of what this whole story started with is, kind of the understanding that I stuck by his side. It was my choice. I wasn't forced to, but I made that choice, and I was still dealing with this type of treatment, probably hoping that you can, still continue to help him through to get to a true healing.
Yeah.
But that was not the case.
No.
And then you decide to separate, which is very normal and natural. It's not like your life's, you were set up on earth to make sure that he was always taken care of and helped. I mean, that it's not on you. And then when you separate, that's your call.
All is fair in that time period. You're done.
Yeah.
You're done. As my dad would like to say, all is fair in love and war until you say I do. In this case, you were about to say divorce, which makes it even more fair to live your own life and move on.
Yeah, I mean, that's a little bit mixing of topics a little bit. Everything's fair and goes until I do. Well, all right, shit. Well,
which I don't necessarily agree with, but I hear it. I hear it at least once a week. So another big reason I wanted to pick this one, because I know it is a heavy and you guys are like, Morgan, why the fuck did you do this to us? The top couple comments really just made me oh, okay. And on the theme of intervention, I know there are a lot of you out there who have been in abusive relationships and may even be in one. I really try to read a lot of the messages you guys send my way. And one of the ones that really just sticks with me is from a listener who said that this podcast was the reason they got out of an abusive relationship. Again, I just wanted to highlight this one a little bit because of that. And because it's a listener. It's a listener writing in on our subreddit, which really want to address.
Yeah, for sure.
So the top comment is from OG Hippie.
Nice.
And they go, 1, you don't prioritize a relationship for the first year of recovery. 2, he's going to use what he, quote, can't get over as an excuse to relapse. 3, stay separated. And for heaven's sakes, don't get pregnant. Chances are not in your favor of this working out. And then they add a little, kind of like a blip to share their credentials.
Yeah.
And it says, ex-wife of a dead addict. And that's fucking sad and heavy.
Yeah. Well, and I don't know if we're commenting here on, what you should do going forward, as it means stay together or not, because we really don't have enough to decide that, and that, or really to comment on it. We're not even close to deciding anything, but just looking at the way that the jealousy's coming out now and let's have a threesome thing. There's signs, there's things popping out now that almost can be separated a little bit from the addiction, just as pure little, not little, but relationship problems.
Yeah. Almost to where he's trying to go tit for tat to get even.
With the addiction as kind of the foundation under this, what are we reading into? What does this lead to? And this is something for them to think through.
Yeah, there is one more comment I want to read before we move on from this one, and it's from Chicklecat13. Accusatory behavior already shows he's more than likely relapsed. He's projecting his guilt of relapsing onto her to cover up what he's done with something that would bother her enough not to notice changes in his behavior. My dad always stirs up drama when he relapses. He's basically trying to distract from what he's doing wrong by making everyone else focus on a non-issue that's all of a sudden bothering him.
That's interesting. That's an interesting take because they've been through it. I mean, they see it.
They've lived it firsthand. And I do see how that could be a reality because he knew that you were seeing someone before you even agreed to end your separation and get back together. It was a very online relationship. He saw it. He asked his questions. And so I do think people and their feelings can change. You can develop these feelings after time and thinking things over. And I thought I would be okay with it at first, but I really realized I'm not.
That's where my mind went first with it, is I thought it just like creeped back in after they got back kind of settled into their life.
And that can happen, but I don't think that's fair. It's like you had all the cards presented in front of you and you chose to pursue this. And you should have made that decision up front. Like,
right.
It just doesn't seem fair to like kind of like a bait and switch again. It's kind of like that. I'm fine. I love you. I want to be together. But then once you have her again, it's like, actually, I do have a problem with that. And if you love me, in order to get even, we should bring someone else into the bedroom. So it's fair.
Yeah.
That's what it feels like for me.
I agree. And I think it's kind of one of those things that we've discussed quite a bit where whether it's cheating or some kind of big problem in a relationship, if you both come together and decide to move forward, you kind of agree to put the sword back in the, back in the thing. You agree to not carry that knife forward as a constant, like, oh, you did this and I'm going to constantly remind you of it forever, because that's not what it's about. And that just leads to failure.
Yeah. Well, OP, I really hope you look at the comments, and I hope you get the help that you need, whether that's knowing how to support your partner and making sure he's following up with his recovery, getting out, whatever that looks like for you going forward. I hope that you find what you're looking for in this write-in and just having a safe, happy, healthy life.